Welcome to I Wrote That, a podcast for entrepreneurs who are navigating the crazy world of authorship. Whether you're just starting out or already established, we want to help you navigate the publishing world with confidence. My name is Larissa Soehn, and this channel is brought to you by Next Page Publishing. With the help of our industry partners, we bring you the insights on the most challenging yet most rewarding parts of being an authorpreneur, along with the actionable tips to help you move your brand and your business forward. Don't forget to download your free copy of our book, Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, by visiting nextpagepublishing.net/author your way. Let's meet our next guest. Welcome back to another episode of I Wrote That. My name is Larissa Soehn. I am your host and the CEO of Next Page Publishing, where we help busy entrepreneurs like our next guest write books so that they can really scale their business up without sacrificing those fun things that we like to do, like living our lives and actually having a social life and all of those fun things. So today I'm really excited to welcome a client who we all have those dream clients, those ones that are self-motivated, those ones that show up because they know what they're here for and why they're doing it. And it makes the relationship so simple and it makes the process not easy, because writing a book's not easy. I'm sure, Michelle, no, writing a book is not easy.
No.
But when you have the right people in the room, it feels not effortless. What's the word I'm looking for here, Michelle?
I don't know. It just, there's a simplicity. It's just like, it kind of flows. Maybe that's it. There's a flow to it.
There's a flow. So welcome, Michelle Schafer. She is an ICF-certified coach and a facilitator specializing in career transitions and leadership. She is the owner and founder of Michelle Schafer Coaching, empowering people to achieve career fulfillment. Michelle is passionate about people and inspired by their progress, working with clients at all levels of an organization and across sectors, including federal and municipal governments, high tech, not-for-profits, and financial services. Michelle offers one-on-one coaching and in groups, but most recently, she was recognized as one of Ottawa's top coaches in 2024.
Yay!
And she is a first-time author and proud to launch
Yay!
Cultivating Career Growth and Navigating Transitions with Purpose in 2025. Welcome, Michelle.
Yes. Thank you so much, Larissa. And thanks for that great introduction.
Yeah, you bet. I feel like sometimes I belong on a little bit of a talk show. Like I get really flamboyant with it, but it exists because you and I have had this relationship. And I wasn't even your coach during this process. We had one of our other coaches coaching you, and yet
Yes.
still, I mean, you and I have connected in ways, and I've watched you thrive through this process. And of course, there's the bumps and the hiccups and things like that. But just in
Oh,
general,
yes.
how has it been? It's been about a year from the idea
It
when you said
has.
yes to now.
I know. I mean, and it's funny to even think it's been a whole year because the time has passed so astronomically fast. It was really interesting. I mean, I never really thought I would be somebody that would write a book. I really didn't think that I would have enough to say, or certainly that I could fill an entire book. But my partner Tim had been prompting me for a while, and he still believes that I have a few books in me. And, it was interesting because people had reached out to me and they wanted to publish a book that I hadn't even written yet. And I just said no to everybody. I didn't even have conversations with people because I honestly didn't think that this was something that was going to be in my future. And then, Larissa, I swear, when you reached out, there was just something in me that thought, you know what? I shouldn't shut it down before I have the conversation. And like we had the conversation and it just went on longer than our allotted time. And by the end of that, I just thought, if I'm going to write a book, I want it to be with you. And so I'm just so happy that we've been able to make this connection. And the experience has really been top rate, like from start to finish. I mean, what you said earlier about you helped to make writing a book like easier so that I can focus on the stuff that I like to do, which is coaching clients and helping people in their career transition. You've done all of that. So thank you, because like you're responsible and your team is responsible for me birthing this book, which is, still unbelievable to me that I have a book.
Yeah. And I love talking to authors when they're like right on the cusp of, publishing. By the time this comes out, your book will be out on the shelves. And
It will.
I want to ask you, as that new author, the first time you held your book, just talk about that because there's no feeling like it.
I mean, there isn't. And I think the timing of when the proof copy arrived on my doorstep was really important too, because my proof copy arrived on Christmas Eve. That's when Amazon delivered it. And I thought, this is like a Christmas gift just for me. I get to open this and nobody else gets to touch this. And, just to be able to hold it and I'm a hard copy book girl. Like I don't use a Kindle. Like I really like the feeling of flipping pages, like dog earing pages, taking a highlighter or a pen, like underscoring things. And so when I held my book, it was just this feeling of, oh my gosh, like this is mine. And I think the whole process was building up. Obviously, I could say at any point in the process that I was an author, even though I didn't have the book in my hands. But there was something about when that book landed on my doorstep and I unwrapped it for the first time, that just kind of sunk in for me. I am an author. Like I actually have a book. Like, see, like, I could show anybody. And the feeling of that was pretty gratifying. It was extremely rewarding. I still catch myself, even now, if somebody were to use the word author, I kind of like do one of these, like I look behind me, like, are you talking to me? Like case in point, I was on a TV interview very recently, and the host introduced me as not only the owner of my business and a career coach, but she put author as part of the introduction. And same thing, I kind of wanted to look behind me. Is there somebody else there? And she's talking to them? Oh no, no, she's talking to me. And it's just like it's starting to sink in now that this is a real thing, that I'm an author and I have a book that I can call my own that has my name right on the front of it.
Yeah,
It's very cool.
it feels like an identity shift. I know the first time I went
Yeah.
through it with my fiction books, it was the same thing. And then comes the anxiety of like, oh, people are actually going to read this. Like that's a whole new level. But I think as, women who own our own businesses, there is this piece of us that we have to have. I'm gonna maybe I'll speak for myself and then you can tell me like I need like tangible proof of like the stuff I've done. And like my books to me are that like I can look at them and go, No one could have done it the way I did it. No one's
Exactly.
experiences could have formed this piece of literary masterpiece, if you will, like toot your own horn,
Yeah.
because I think we need to do that as women. We need to have pieces of our identity that are linked to our raw power, which is really
Yeah.
what your book is. It's a culmination of your experiences and your your hopes for people on the job search, right? Like that really comes through. You're so empowering and you're so positive. And I
Mhm.
know you went out and you asked some of your past clients for reviews on your book, and that was like the
Yes.
prevailing theme. They were like, she brings fun to something that could be very not fun.
Yeah, I mean, looking for work is, yeah, it's decidedly not fun. I mean, even when it seems to go smoothly, and even when somebody finds a job like maybe faster than they were expecting, it's still not fun. I mean, like there's so many emotions that are part of looking for work. Like there's overwhelm, there's discouragement, there's frustration. For some people, there's shame too. Maybe they've been let go and now they have to find a job really quickly. And so, I love the fact that I've been able to write this book now because it does offer hope for people everywhere, anywhere around the globe. And, because people all over the globe are looking for work every moment of every day. Like there's somebody somewhere that is exploring a new path or needs to find a job really fast. So the fact that I've written this book now to basically be offered as a resource for people to help them understand, how do I figure out what I need to do next? Like, how do I figure out what my job search plan is all about? Like, how do I interview? How do I need to write my resume? How do I have conversations with other people and explore opportunities? All of that is in my book. And the neat thing is, as you mentioned, Larissa, like it's a culmination of not just my client stories, but it's also, it has part of myself and my own story in there because I've gone through two career transitions. I've lost my job through restructuring twice over the course of my career. I've needed to reinvent myself, and that's actually what led me to coaching in the first place, was through career transition. But all of that is, I'm speaking from a place of experience, professional experience with my clients, and personal experience for me. And this book is going to offer, step by step, like tips and strategies. There's even a place to write after every chapter. It's like part workbook as well, so that, my hope for readers is not only will you come away learning more about how to explore career paths and how to create a job search plan to find your next fulfilling, energizing job, but it's going to also include all of your own reflections, all of your own notes, so that you're going to have actionable things to try once you finish the book. And that's certainly my hope for all readers.
Mhm. And I think your book, again, is that blend of positivity, right? And what I love about it is it's your voice. And this is why I think books
Mm,
stand far above any other marketing strategy that authors can have, or I'm sorry, entrepreneurs can have, is because your book is about, it's a 4 to 6 hour read, depending on how fast or slow someone reads. And again, if they go through the activities and they're taking their time, it might be more like an 8 hour thing. There's no other
yeah,
form where people are going to sit with you for 8 hours in such an intimate space where they're not just listening to you talk, your voice is in their head, and then they get to move at
yeah,
their own pace and they get to put their reflections in it, but they are with you, right? And that's
yeah.
your book is like a conversation style. Like, it's written
Mm,
simply enough that when I was reading it, like, as your dev editor, I felt like you were in the room, and I felt like you were
that's so
teaching me
cool.
these things and you were telling me these stories about your past clients. And I think that is the power of a well-written book at the center of your brand,
Mm,
right? Because at the end of the day, we know the book is not the end. What we want people to do, we want the book to be
yeah.
a step in the journey, right? A step in the journey, hopefully to you, but ultimately, because we are heart-centered entrepreneurs, a step in their journey towards their goals. That's the ultimate thing.
Yeah. Exactly. Yeah, and it really is part of a system that way. Like it's meant to be a resource ongoing. I mean, like, and this is the neat thing is that, yes, job search strategies have changed a bit over the years, but there's so much of what's in my book that is really going to be evergreen. Like, it's just going to live on, like the things that are important in a resume or the things that are important to do, like when you're preparing for interviews. I mean, those things are unlikely to change and shift in a really big way, which means that this book, like next year, the year after that, is still going to support a whole lot of job seekers. And like for me, like the reward would be, even if it helps one person, like one person who picks up my book, and maybe they pick up my book because they've been looking for work for a while and they haven't really gotten anywhere, and they're feeling pretty exasperated. They don't really know what to do. They feel like they've tried it all and it's just not going anywhere. Like, for somebody who's like kind of deep into a job search with those emotions and those feelings, if they pick up my book and they get like one new nugget or one new tip or strategy that actually breathes new life into their job search, and they eventually find a job, for me, that's the biggest reward of all, is to hear from people and know that it's helped them in a really profound way at a very vulnerable time in their lives.
Mhm. Yeah, absolutely. All right, we're going to take one quick break. And then when I come back, I want to talk more about like what's coming after, because we all know the book is just writing the book is just the beginning and the tip of the iceberg, if you will. There's a lot that comes
Yeah.
after the fact. And I want to talk through some of the conversations that you and I have had to set yourself up, not only for the launch, but the long-term success of your book. So we'll
Yeah.
be right back with that.
All right.
Are you hoping 2025 will be the year you write your brand centered book? Or maybe you have a business book that isn't doing what you want? No matter where you are on your entrepreneur journey, we have the secret to your success, and we're going to give it to you for free. In our new book, Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, we share with you the formula and tools to guarantee your business book is a success. Within the pages of Author Your Way to Your Next 100K, You will learn from the expertise of a nonfiction publisher and the real-life examples of authors who have seen incredible success using our proven strategies. We're also going to give you access to our workbook, where you can tangibly assess where in your business a book can make the biggest impact for you. This book and the companion workbook are specifically built to help entrepreneurs like you write and sell a book that converts readers into clients with the power of artful invitation and deliberate storytelling. At Next Page Publishing, we believe in helping you achieve massive returns on your investments. Your time, energy, skill, and experiences are valuable, and you deserve to create a tool that matches your worth. This book is our gift to you. Visit nextpagepublishing.net/authoryourway to access your free copy today.
Okay, we are back. So, Michelle, you and I, because we've been on this journey together for a year, we have talked about all things under the sun. When you and I can stay focused on work-related conversations, because we go on. But when we
The
can
key
stay
is
focused enough,
focus.
yeah, exactly. When we stay focused enough, we talk about strategy around your book, right? Because a book is not something that you just plunk into the middle of your business and say, good luck. We need to plan it out. So you and I have talked about things like funnels and maybe even community building and workshops and events. And now you've talked about media as well. Talk a little bit about what kind of a headspace almost you were in when you started thinking about marketing, and how have things progressed?
Yeah, it's a big topic. I think of it like marketing with a capital M. And I've been in business now for almost 10 years. And I'll be honest, my marketing efforts were up until this point before I wrote a book pretty minimal. Like I do a lot of writing on LinkedIn, but I hadn't always. Like that's only really been the last, I'm going to say like 5 years more solidly. I have a website, obviously, I would, take out some ads every now and again. Like that was really the extent of it. And then, like with past clients and they're your referral pipeline, like they would get the word out as well. But I recognize now, especially having written a book, that you can't just rely on those ways of marketing because they're kind of passive too. Like writing on LinkedIn, it's kind of like, okay, I'm going to hope that people reach out to me just because I'm putting out some content. The same goes with writing a book. If I just wrote the book and said, okay, now this thing is on Amazon and maybe I'll plunk a few posts into LinkedIn to promote it, but the thing is going to sell itself. No, the book does not sell itself. And I'll liken this part to looking for work. Your experience doesn't sell itself. You sell your experience. Well, the same with my book. I have to sell my book. I have to get the word out. And so, one of the things, Larissa, I know we were talking about was, like really having a strategy for, not only before the book, doing a lot of promotion, which I have been doing, but it's all the after. And I remember you were really clear in one of the earlier conversations, and you said, like it's unlikely you're going to make a lot of money just from writing the book, like for just from selling the book, right? Like that's not where the moneymaker is. But the book then becomes that gateway where people will be able to access you, they'll learn about you, you'll be more credible, for me in the career transition space, and it gives people a way in to start working with me. But that doesn't happen if I leave my book in the like thousands and thousands of books that are on Amazon on any given day. So one of the things that I've done, this has been a bit strategic, is going on podcasts like this one. And those two, they don't just fall in your lap. Like I've had to pitch a lot of podcasts. I've joined a podcast accelerator group that is specifically geared to podcast guesting. There's a whole lot of other benefits that come from that. But what has really come from it for me is developing a system and like a pitch, like a language and a framework that would be appealing to podcast hosts so that they would have me on. And then certainly, the more strategic podcasts I can get on, that also promote my book. And this is like a key part of the podcast guesting. It's not just about having the conversation. You do want to promote yourself. Then the aim is to have more people reach out and, access my website and find my book in that way. So, the podcasting is a big one. The other thing, like, it's almost embarrassing that I did not have this before. But again, almost being in business for 10 years, I never had an email funnel. I never had an email list. Like, what? Your listeners are going to say, what? You were in business for 10 years as an entrepreneur and you never had an email list? Yes, that is true. And so, one of the things that, I mean, you were really instrumental in helping me out with Larissa is, first of all, getting my head around the fact that I needed an email funnel and I needed to build an email list. But then, you very graciously connected me with Cass, who I've been working with, and Cass has been great to get everything set up. I mean, as an entrepreneur, it's not all about doing it all yourself. It's about, being resourceful and knowing who do you go to get these things done so that it could free me up to do the thing I love, which is coaching. And so building the email list has been critical because now I've been able to like share with my followers, my subscribers, hey, my book is coming out. I can actually put in the order link when it's live. But even just right now in these initial stages, I'm offering a free chapter of my book as kind of like, I think of it like an appetizer, like try before you buy, right? So, it gives people a taste of, what's my style like? What's the information that they're going to get? And they can sign up and they can actually receive that. But I never would have been able to do that before. So I think, like Larissa, our conversations have been really important because had we not had those marketing conversations, I know what would have happened. I would have promoted on LinkedIn, a bunch of times. And then at some point I'd be like, okay, well, my book is out. I don't need to keep promoting. I probably wouldn't have done a lot. And now there's more of a strategy around like how to keep the book alive in the minds of people who would really benefit from reading it.
And I do want to emphasize that what I said at the beginning of this episode was you are a dream client. You are a dream client who really only had a social media marketing strategy and didn't have an email list. Like you can still be
So,
a dream client when it comes to publishing a book because you were willing to listen to what we had to say about marketing and to take it to heart. But what I love, Michelle, is that there are 1,000 ways to market a book, like, and there are 1,000 other ways to market your business, and you put them together and you have a million combinations, right? Like it's endless.
yeah,
And I think what you have done is take what you want from it. Like, you're doing what
yeah,
you want, what's sustainable to you. And I think that's where a lot of marketing companies can let authors down is they give you their system because it's worked for them.
yeah,
But then you look at the coach that you're giving it to, and like, let's say, for example, you hated public speaking. Well, a podcast marketing plan's not going to be that great.
yeah,
And
exactly.
so you've put yourself in the spot where you're learning a skill that is fun to you because you're great in these types of situations, right? Like when we
Thanks.
hit you a question, you are on the ball. You've got the answer ready for you. And that's excellent. So lean into that. Like all of us entrepreneurs, one of the most toxic places to be, in my opinion, is on Facebook as an entrepreneur because
Yeah,
it's just this slew of all the things you're not doing. And it
yeah,
can make that feeling of inadequacy, right? But at the end of the day, it's got to work for you and your brand and clients, right? Like, where are your clients hanging out? They are listening to
yeah,
podcasts because they are, in a lot of scenarios, they don't have a job. And so they're multitasking.
yeah,
They're even trying to distract their mind because silence is not a place they want to be in right now.
yeah,
And so get in their ears and then get in their hands with the book and then be that partner to them. And what you've done, we talk about this a lot in my upcoming book, Author Your Way, is that client journey. And basically you've gone out in the podcasting world and you're borrowing someone's audience, right? You're
yeah,
saying, I have something, and you just pack that 30 minutes full of value. You make them feel seen and understood and enough to want to go to your website, which what is your website again?
mschafercoaching.ca.
Yes, excellent. go and look at Michelle's website, right? mschafercoaching.ca, because she's got her lead magnet up there. And so if you're thinking of writing a book and you're like, I don't know what a funnel looks like for a book, go look at her website, get your email in there, take a look. Sorry, Michelle, I totally just basically pimped out your landing page, but
I love that. I love that. And actually, when you go to my website, there's a little menu option that's just called My Book. So when you click on that, that's where you can sign up and get a free chapter and yeah, see what the whole landing page actually looks like.
yeah,
Pretty
exactly.
cool.
And take a look at it and then know. So you've got the podcast, they're funneling into your system, and then you've got email funnels set up, right? And now you have offers to match up with those email funnels. And suddenly your book is
Yeah.
not a business card. It's not something you put on someone's desk and then they put on the back shelf. It's a piece of your business. It's a part
Yeah.
of your systems and your strategies. And that, I mean, if you want to talk sexy little things for me, that's a sexy little system you've got built there. I love that. I absolutely love it.
I mean, like, and I see the potential, right? Like, and I think when I went down this path to build it initially, I really had the book in mind. And I thought, okay, I need a way to promote, I need a way to get this in the hands of people. And that was what was driving me before. But I see now that the potential is so much longer term. Like, so now that I have like have been building an email list and I can continue building it. I mean, it's not just like an event, right? It doesn't just stay. It's a work in progress. But now I have a way of communicating with people if I want to offer a promotion on my one-on-one coaching programs. One of the things that I have in my head, definitely going to wait till the book comes out and all of the craziness surrounding that. But I mean, down the road, one of the things I would like to do is develop a course and like have it like even like a self-directed course that also has one-on-one coaching built in and layered into it. But I need that email funnel to be able to advertise that and to let people know and, even just to hear from people. And so I'm setting it up now with the book in mind, but it's going to have a life beyond this. And so, initially I was hesitant. I thought, do I really need this? Like, it's an added expense. Like, I'm already spending money, like putting, birthing this book into the world. But I mean, it's really been money very, very well spent. And I mean, it's strategic. I mean, because you need, if you're looking at the growth and the future of your business, you need to have an automated way to communicate with people about anything. It could even just be like, hey, I was on this podcast. Like, before this, I didn't have any way to communicate with people about that unless I were to cobble together a bunch of names. But that's not really the best use of my time. So this is becoming like a way more streamlined, efficient way of being able to like continue to build that audience, but then also let them know what I'm up to.
Oh my goodness. Dream client, just right here. She's all here,
So
guys. Your
much going
dream
on.
client.
Ah,
Because
I
you're
would say
talking,
yours is the dream team, though. I mean, like,
I,
really, like, you've
yeah,
got the
this is
dream
what
team that made
happens.
it happen.
Yeah, exactly. When we put, the right people in a room, this is the type of thing. And what I love about what you just said is you're looking at the potential, which to me, if I'm going to translate that to entrepreneur terms, we're scaling. We're looking at what is the
Yes.
scaling journey and potential of this book. And I want to talk about that because a lot of our clients, when they get to the spot a little bit or sooner than we are, they're in the editing and we're just starting the marketing conversations really
Yeah.
intensely. We talk about it a little bit in the beginning, but it's all very conceptual until we have the book
Yeah.
written and we can think about it more holistically. But a lot of people can get really overwhelmed by the potential of like, and
Yeah.
that feeling of I have to have all of this before my book comes out.
Yeah.
And the reality is no. Actually, a
No.
smart business strategy is build your 5-year scaling plan around this book. What are you going to do in Q1 of this year? And then Q2. And then how are you going to test it to
Yeah.
make sure it's working? I think the world is a little bit shaken right now with what's happening with TikTok. I know you and I are Canadian,
Yeah.
so and I wasn't on TikTok, and I imagine
Me neither.
yeah. So like I didn't even know it was happening until I went on Facebook like 3 days after the event. And I was like, oh, well, that's unfortunate for a lot of people that have hinged their businesses on
I
TikTok.
know.
And this is
Yeah.
why we build the systems outside of social media is not a marketing strategy. It can be a tool to
No.
support, but it's not a strategy.
No. Yeah, yeah. I mean, it's really important. I mean, with any strategy, right? Like to diversify. And so like not putting all of your eggs into one marketing basket, like I was before, right? Before all my eggs were in the LinkedIn basket. And yeah, I mean, I've gotten clients through LinkedIn, but that's only one platform and that's only one avenue. And so like to your point, there are so many possibilities. Like your head can literally explode daily with all of the different possibilities if you dwell too much on any of those things. And I remember you had some really good advice. It was just what do you need to do like now? Like kind of what are you going to focus on like from now into the launch? And then okay, so then the launch, what are you going to focus on from the launch and beyond? And so that really just helped to make it easier to digest it all because I knew that of course I'm going to continue, with social media because it does work for me, but the one thing that I really wasn't strategic on before, like it was the podcasting. I mean, that become like another avenue. And I really recommend like playing to your strengths with this stuff too. Like I enjoy this. I enjoy being on podcasts. I find it easy. I find it very conversational. I mean, you always need to prepare, obviously, and you do need to be strategic, obviously, about the podcasts that you go on. Like as you're launching a book you want to go on podcasts that play in your space and try to get on and be part of those audiences. But it's something that you really need to think about. Okay, well, what am I going to do with this? And who am I going to pitch? And like, how am I going to pitch it? And that's going to build a new audience. The one thing that I realized I was making a big mistake on before I started marketing my book was I had been on podcasts before but I didn't ever pitch anybody. I mean, somebody would say, "Hey, like would you like to be a guest on my podcast?" And I go, "Okay." I thought great promotional opportunity. I can put the link up on my website. It just, gives some information about me and how I work with clients. But the big, big, big mistake I made every single time that I am not making this mistake now is I never had a call to action. Like my call to action was go and visit my website. But like, really? That's actually not a call to action because like what am I actually asking people to do? I'm not directing them to anything. So now the fact that, again, back to building the email list and having the landing page and having a place where people can access my book. Now when I go on podcasts, I can say, "Oh, and hey, for all of your listeners, I've got a special gift. Go on to my website, mschafercoaching.ca, click on the My Book tab, sign up to get a free chapter, and it'll give you a taste of what my book is all about." Now I'm giving something to the podcast audience, and it's like encouraging people to reach out to me. But before I didn't have that. It was just like kind of vague and like I didn't even point people to a specific part of my website. It was just here it is. And I realized like now, if I think back, did I get one client from any of those podcasts? Well, of course I didn't. And why? Because I didn't have a call to action. And that too has come from these conversations with you is using that book as a way, as a specific marketing tool that is going to attract clients to work with you. But you need to direct people to where you want them to go, which for me is I want to direct them to sign up on my list because that's where they're going to get access to different information. But that was a game changer. I didn't do that before.
Oh my gosh, there's so much I could unpack in that because there's so much power in the call to action, but it's really a lot of people will think that go visit my website is a call to action. But the question that one of my coaches gave me, Jana Nixa, who I will sing her praises till the day I can no longer sing, what's in it for them? Why would they go to your website? So now you're
Yeah.
saying go to my website and get something for free that is jam-packed with value, right? And I think that is so
Yeah.
important with our call to action. Like our call to action is we have a free webinar event. And if you show up live, we give you free copies of our books and we give you a couple copies of our downloadable courses at a discount. Like what is in it for them? Why would they give you their
Yeah.
time, their energy, and then eventually their money, right? And then the other thing I want to really hit
Yeah.
on with that very quickly is the scalability of what you're inviting them into. And I'm going to talk from experience on
Mm.
this one. Like my marketing strategy right up front was LinkedIn. So I'm going to be totally honest. We were in LinkedIn. That's how you and I met, right? Like I was sending messages to
Yeah,
people based on what
exactly.
I was seeing on their activity on LinkedIn. So your posting is what led us to connecting. And I would go straight from, hey, do you want to have a call to, do you want to spend a whole bunch of money with me in the call, right? There was no warm up sequence. And thank God, Michelle, it worked with you. But generally speaking, it doesn't work with most people. Like you and I had an energy connection,
Yeah,
I think, that made it happen. But
I think so.
there is this spot of like, why would someone who listened to you on someone else's podcast suddenly want to invest a couple $1,000s with you? No, at best, they're going to invest some energy or some time into you. And then you warm them up and you
Yeah,
go from a cold lead to a warm lead to a hot lead. And I think that is where your book is coming in. If we looked at your client journey or your big system funnels, is it's
yeah,
not the top and it's not the bottom, it's in the middle, right? It's warming people up to the idea of investing in
yeah,
you. And investing looks different in a lot of ways. Even the time and energy to go to your website and sign up, that is investing, let's say 5 minutes of their time. And in a world where I don't have
exactly.
5 minutes hanging around, that's an
Yeah.
investment.
It is a huge investment. It's interesting. Like one of the things that I've also learned, through marketing my book through podcast guesting is I used to also think that a call to action would be book an appointment with me. You could book an appointment with me, free 30 minutes to chat with me. And so, yeah, if you promote that, yeah, there might be the occasional person who does sign up. But the reality is that it's way too early in the game for a lot of people. So, it's far less, threatening is the wrong word, but like you don't have to really be vulnerable to sign up and put your email in and get a free copy or a free chapter of a book. But you do have to show up and be vulnerable and basically be ready to say, yes, I need some help right now if you're booking an appointment with me. And the reality is a lot of people are not at that I need your help, I'm really vulnerable place. So now when I am on podcasts, yeah, I don't put in there like, oh, you can talk with me for 30 minutes because a lot of people aren't ready for that. But hey, just sign up and put in your email and I will send you a PDF of one of the chapters of my book just to give you a little bit of an appetizer, a bit of a taster. That's far easier for people to do and less commitment of energy and time than the alternative, which is having the conversation. And I mean, the hope would be once they sign up and they're going to hear from me and they get the free chapter of my book and maybe they go ahead and they buy the book, then they're ready to meet me, like, okay, yeah, let's have a conversation now. I feel like I know you. So then it becomes a lot easier, but it's way too early in the relationship to pitch that out,
Yeah.
at the end of a podcast.
Yeah. It is. It's kind of that take me to dinner before you try and take me home.
Yeah, something
Like
like
maybe
that.
buy me a scone before we invest heavily.
Exactly.
It's so funny. I think you have a very, very bright future that's creating the company that works
Thank
for
you.
you, right? And if it's courses, if it's maybe working with other coaches at some point, if it's
Mm,
bringing your programs and complementing other people's programs, I think there's just so much future for you because you're open to it. And I think that's the biggest thing. So I want to ask you, Michelle, as we wrap up this episode, what is the biggest advice you have for new or aspiring authors?
yeah, gosh, there's a couple of things to mention, I suppose. One is just do it. Like borrow from the Nike slogan, just do it. Because to my much earlier point, I never thought of myself as an author. And quite honestly, for the longest time, I didn't think I had anything to say publicly. Like for a long time on LinkedIn, I hid behind the content of other people. I would like and I would repost, and I might actually dip my toe in the commenting pool. But that was about as far as it went. I mean, the pandemic really changed all that. I realized that I did have things to write about. So, if you're thinking about writing a book, then chances are you've got a lot to write about. Like that thought just didn't pop into your head. And maybe you've got people in your life, like people that you love, people that you care about that are telling you the same thing. Like follow that thread. Like timing is everything. I think, 2 years ago was not the right time for me. But then Larissa was like, the universe was speaking to me, right? You crossed my path and you reached out to me and we had a great conversation. That was the universe telling me, you know what? I think it's time to do it. So if you feel like you've got stuff to write about, and I think mostly everybody does have something to write about, something to share with the world, like do that. The other piece of advice is join Larissa's team. Like hands down, like seriously, like from you, Amy, who was my literary coach for all of your listeners, she was outstanding and gave me such incredibly constructive feedback and encouraging through every part of the process that, really made my content better, made my life easier. Just, having known her and being able to benefit from her expertise. Ruth, who did the editing, and all the marketing pieces behind the scenes, like there's so much that your team does. So that's a big piece of advice. Like, don't try to self-publish. Like if I had tried to self-publish this, I would not be talking to you about a book that was written. Like it would still be like deep, probably in the content stage. Having your team just made everything so much easier. And the other thing, this is coming from Amy, and I love this last piece of advice because I write in my book about like celebrating different aspects of a job search, not just waiting until you get the job. And when I wrote my first draft, which was like months and months ago now, Amy said to me, "So how are you celebrating?" And I thought, yeah, that's right. Like I don't have to hold my celebrations until I publish. I can celebrate the first draft. I mean, I can celebrate having an outline to the book and then my first chapter of the book and then the first draft of the book and then, completing the first round of edits on the book. And then, yeah, maybe there's a bigger celebration, like with a launch party and stuff like that, right? When you publish, but there's so many things along the way that, we need to honor all of those as milestones because, if we don't accomplish if we don't hit any one of those milestones, we won't have a book. And so each one of them deserves a celebration and a recognition and an honoring of that. So that would be another big piece of advice that I share.
And it sure makes life a lot happier when you're buying yourself a little treat every couple weeks because you did a
Yes,
cool thing. And that a book at its essence is a cool thing. Like it's
it
something no one can
is.
ever take away from you. So why wouldn't you celebrate every single milestone? And publishing a book gives you a lot of milestones to
Yeah.
celebrate, I promise you.
And it's so much hard work. Like it is so much hard work. Like don't underestimate how much is involved in it. And with that, there's so much reward and fulfillment and so much to be proud of. Like for me, it's been really cool to see this book come together because it's my system. It's the system that I've used for like, basically all of the time I've been coaching, but it's in one place now, and so, now when people sign up to work with me, I can give them a copy of the book, like, and say, this is going to be, like, this is part of your package. When you sign on with me, you get this. It's a benefit, but it's also going to support the work that we do. So, yeah, I mean, it's something that, is a big event and a big process, certainly over the last year and something I'm super proud of. So it's been exciting. And thank you to you, Larissa. Like you and your team, like I said, have just made it so much easier. So highly recommend.
Oh, thank you very much, Michelle. Again, we're going to put all your links down, link to your book, link to your website down in the show notes. If you do want to connect with Michelle, or you just want to creep up on her funnel that she's built for her book, then go to her website, check it out. But again, Michelle, I want to thank you so much for being that dream client, that client who said yes, took a chance, and then did the work because it's going to pay off.
Thanks for tuning in to I Wrote That. Don't forget to download your free copy of Author Your Way to kickstart your journey as an entrepreneur. You'll find the link in today's show notes. And if you enjoyed today's episode, we'd love for you to leave us a review. It helps more listeners like you discover the show. Until next time, happy writing.